An old man touched the fat man's face. From that moment on, this man began to lose weight rapidly to prevent himself from wasting away. The man kept eating constantly. Nick was originally an obese solicitor. Despite his considerable weight, he had a slender wife to help control his weight. His wife prepared diet meals for him every day. One day, Nick received a case to defend the local mob boss. Using his exceptional legal skills, Nick effortlessly cleared the mob boss of all charges. Later that evening, after dinner with colleagues, whilst Nick and his wife were driving home, they accidentally struck and killed a gypsy woman. It turned out the woman was the chief's daughter, but Nick had many friends in court. Even the judge and police spoke in his defense, so Nick easily shirked responsibility. He then walked out of court cheerfully, but just then an old man blocked his path. The old man reached out and touched Nick's face, saying, "Thinner." Though Nick found this puzzling, he didn't give it much thought. However, in the days that followed, strange things began to happen. Nick started losing weight rapidly, dropping 3 pounds each day. His wife was thrilled, thinking her diet plan had finally worked. But soon they realized something was wrong. One day, Nick went to play golf with the judge afterwards whilst showering. The judge mentioned he'd recently encountered the gypsy chief. The old man had touched his chest. The next day, his chest began to rot. The judge was terribly worried, thinking he might have contracted some infectious disease. Nick gingerly touched his own face. Had he been infected as well? However, his face wasn't rotting. Only his weight continued to drop. His wife grew worried. To be safe, she insisted he stop eating the diet meals. But Nick wasn't concerned. In fact, he was quite pleased with the weight loss results. However, even as he indulged in all sorts of delicious food, his weight kept dropping. His wife grew increasingly anxious and forced him to see a doctor. Nick reluctantly agreed and had a checkup, but the results showed his health was perfectly fine, so he didn't think much of it. One day, Nick was eating at a restaurant when he bumped into the judge's wife. He suddenly realized he hadn't seen the judge for quite some time, so he decided to pay him a visit. That evening, Nick asked the judge's wife if the judge had also been losing weight. Upon hearing this, the judge's wife clearly became flustered. She explained that this was all part of a gypsy curse. She became increasingly agitated as she spoke, lashing out at Nick and blaming everything on him. If Nick hadn't killed the gypsy chief's daughter, the curse wouldn't have befallen them. Nick was quickly shown the door.